Welcome back to the Mountain Morning Show, and I'm joined by Travis McGhee from FuturesANIMal. Hello, my friend.
Good to be back.
I'm happy to have you here.
Yeah.
I'm glad to have you under better conditions, I think, nationally, if not globally.
It feels better.
Yeah,
right?
It does feel better, right?
Better.
The
Yeah.
government's running again.
Yeah.
I don't know that we're back to full steam by any stretch of
Right.
the imagination. That's going to take some time, but the market's already reacting to it, which is a nice thing. It reacted strongly yesterday.
Yeah, so we've had a couple of days. Actually, it's been 5 consecutive days where the broader market, so the S&P
Right.
500, is continually tracked higher. And again, it's coming on the heels of some sort of certainty taking place in D.C. around
Right.
the debt ceiling primarily, and then the opening back up of the government. You know, and this is my personal opinion. I tend to think that, you know, this week and today we'll continue to see some exuberance around
Sure we will.
what happened. But I think coming Monday, it's back to work
Business
again.
as usual.
It's business as usual, and you know, I think we're going to see some very volatile times ahead because, again, all we've really done is delayed the inevitable.
Kick the can down the road.
Again, I forget who said it the other day, but it's the biggest Campbell soup can in history that we've kicked down the road. But that's what we've done. So we've we've delayed the inevitable until, you know, I know they have a December 13th deadline for some budget talks and resolution. But again, we're looking at I think it's January 15th.
Yeah,
government,
January 15th,
and then February 7th for the debt ceiling. So it's going to be a little jittery moving forward.
Well, the interesting thing is, I had an economist on yesterday, and what we were talking about was with regard to the fact that we've kind of become numb to this to some degree. Yeah. We already know this stuff is going to happen. We know that our legislature, that our legislative branch is not going to perform. You know, they've got a 5% approval rating. So when you talk about consistency, we know there's some consistency there of
Right.
not doing stuff. So I think that what we've recognized, at least going forward, is, and this was another kind of an article that I saw that was sort of interesting as well, said that the traders on Wall Street were, in their mind, already set for a default, for us to go, well, I shouldn't say default, but for us to not approve a budget and possibly the default way before we ever got here.
Oh,
so the idea that they were, that there was, some stability, there was stability even when the rest of us were looking at instability.
Right.
And I think that that's what you're saying, if I understand it correctly, right now, is this week is to everybody else is like, hooray, the market's like, yeah, okay, well, we sort of kind of figured this would happen, and yeah,
Exactly.
Yay too, let's move on with business.
Yeah, exactly. Especially on the professional side,
Right.
as far as traders are concerned, they're always looking, well in advance.
Right.
While you're certainly trading on a day-to-day basis and trading what happens during that day, the mindset's always looking well in advance as far as what could impact the market. And quite frankly, that's a stance that a lot of retail traders should take in as far as their investments as well, is understanding the what ifs, or at least visualizing the what ifs and what could happen.
Sure.
Because a lot of understanding what ifs and having those in your vision is going to allow you to set up your portfolio to where you can put some of those protections in place should something bad happen.
Right. We oftentimes, you've heard me say that this, we use the gambling analogies, but the truth of it is it's really more of a chess match, isn't it? We're looking 2 or 3 moves ahead. We've got lots of different choices to make.
Right.
Any one of them can affect, the market, can affect us. Our own choices affect that. We sometimes don't recognize that, right?
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
it's the truth. I mean, some of them are self-fulfilling prophecies a little bit. If we all go into one stock, obviously that stock goes up. We see that with Apple all the time.
Yeah. I think that's a great way to put it. It absolutely is a chess match, more so than gambling. I know a lot of folks, especially when you're looking at some of the more eccentric markets,
Sure.
Options and futures and stuff that I trade. A lot of folks look at that and say, well, that's just straight up gambling. It's very, very risky. Well, it is if you don't understand it.
Right.
But the actual instruments and investing in general you can actually understand the probabilities involved with it more so than with gambling, and actually control those probabilities. Whereas,
Right.
Going in and playing on a craps table, you're at the, it's their table. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's their
what happens,
table in their
happens.
casino. Yeah.
While you could certainly play the probabilities, when it comes to investing, yes, there are probabilities and there are chances that you can lose money, but at the same time, you can actually control those probabilities using the instruments available to you in the market
Right.
today, which weren't there, 30 years ago.
Well, that's an interesting perspective, because one of the questions I wanted to ask you, based on the fact that we do have a market that has, as you said, a lot of protection. There's a lot of different variants that you can get into that will that have different risk levels and things. Who are the typical clients right now? Who do you guys see coming in that are interested in getting in the market?
Right. So that's a great question. Over the years, particularly the past 5 years, there has been a rather large trend of retail traders. And again, a retail trader is an average individual like you, myself, anyone who's just managing their own money.
Right.
That's a retail trader. We're seeing a large influx of retail traders into some of those more eccentric markets, particularly the options market, the trading of options. So at our firm, we're seeing the exact same thing. I'll tell you, one of the largest groups that we're seeing come in to us now are women.
Really?
Women, married women. And this is why. We travel the country, my partner and I, speaking at a lot of industry conferences and talking to folks, and we've run into a number of women over the course of the past year who have come to us and said, "Hey, Travis, listen, I'm married, I've got 3 kids, my husband does very well for himself. He's always controlled the finances. He's always controlled the investments.
Yeah.
He controls, our home. He controls our bank accounts, and not in a bad way.
Yeah,
not in a bad way. But he's
not,
he's overseeing it. What can I do as a woman to get more involved? Should something ever happen to him?
Right.
What can I do to get involved? And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing a large number of women coming in with their husbands in a lot of cases, asking for education, asking for help.
Sure.
So, because here's one of the great things you can do in today's world with, technology. Most all brokerage accounts, including the one that we have at FuturesANIMal, has a demo, a monopoly account. So it's an account
Right.
with fake money.
Like what you and I are doing.
Right, but you can trade inside of it with real-time strategies and buy stocks and do whatever
Excuse me.
you want. Do whatever you want to do. So we can bring women and their husband in and provide the education and get them up to speed with exactly how to invest. So in a lot of cases, the wife can mimic what the husband has done or what the husband is doing
Right.
in a fake account until they get up to speed with exactly how to do it and then start doing it themselves. So that's really what we're seeing now, that in addition to children.
I was just going to ask you, can kids be involved in the market?
Absolutely. So it's difficult, obviously, for a minor. The account actually has to be opened in the name of the parent or the guardian. But you can absolutely open accounts in a child's name. You have the UGMA accounts, UTMA accounts, which are basically custodian accounts, where you can sit with your child and trade alongside of them and talk to
Wow.
them about investing and getting them
Teach
up to
them.
speed. So it's a far
Gosh, I
different.
wish that something had happened to me
It's
like
far
that.
different from when we were growing up, and certainly
Yeah.
when some of other folks, when you're pulling out a newspaper, and you remember the old stock
Yeah.
challenge in middle school and
Yeah,
high
of
school,
course.
where you're just picking a stock from a newspaper and you have to manually track it. Now you can open a monopoly account for a child and say, hey, let's just do some stuff with some play money and get them involved with understanding how investing works.
Right.
Not necessarily how to make money, but how investing works. Lose money, because you have to understand how to lose as much as you have to understand
Right.
how to make.
But I think this is where it becomes, in my opinion, critical, though, to have somebody who is probably more involved than the typical parent who's got to work too.
Right.
You know, to have someone, a professional, help with that teaching.
Yes.
Because the last thing we want to do is teach bad habits when it comes to investing.
Right.
Right. And we certainly want to understand all the things that we're teaching to some degree. So this is where I'm just going to bring my kid in. Is that okay?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely okay.
Gordy's really excited about trading after playing Monopoly, I might add.
Yeah.
But you know, this is something that I really do want to teach my kids. I wish my dad had taught me.
I can't tell you how many folks we've had come through our educational program at our firm, and say the same exact thing. They get done. They said, "This has been a transformation for me in understanding the markets and what all I can do." I want to. Is it okay if I get my children involved? And we've had parents actually purchase the program, the education, for their high school child or a child coming out of college as a Christmas present, and say, "Hey, I want to get Johnny involved in understanding the markets," and they go out and they purchase an educational package as a Christmas gift. And
that's great.
And just to get them understanding finance, understanding how the markets work.
Right.
It's a life skill everyone needs.
What do you offer to get people over the learning curve of this?
So the way we set up our education. So just so everybody knows, we have our education program is actually an accredited program. So it's just like any university, any college. It's an accredited program. It starts out very basic, and it goes to very advanced. And there's different levels. There's 8 different levels that people proceed.
Really?
Yeah, proceed through. We have two companies, actually two sister companies. One company's the education arm, and it's called FuturesANIMal, opening up your options in the world. And then FuturesANIMal is the actual brokerage firm. So if you're just interested in the education portion, you can go in and decide on how advanced you want to get in your investments. If you want to stay very basic, or if you want to learn it all. You could certainly do that.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
We're running out of time, so I want to ask you about our paper trade and how I'm doing with learning here. As I understand it, you made one new trade, and this one was that the S&P 500 did not trade above 1700.
1730.
1730.
Right. So
and we're right on the cusp of it this morning, aren't we?
So things are getting a little hairy,
yeah.
which is okay, because that's what I wanted to show the viewers. So everybody understands what we did was we took a portfolio. The majority of it, I'd say, 80% of it is in some longer term, high probability type investments.
Right.
And then we took that little chunk, 20%, and we're using that to speculate on the market.
Right.
So that's not to say when investing you can't make those guesses,
Sure, that's part of it.
That's part of it, but make it a very small portion. So we made some money in our first guess, our first trade. And what we did is we took the money we made, and we just rolled it over into a new one. So our goal today, it expires today, is hopefully that the S&P trades below 1730, and if it trades above that, then we're going to lose some money on the trade, but we had made some money on the previous trade. So we'll see how that nets out come next week.
It sounds exciting.
But on our main trade that you and I put on,
we're still doing well.
We're doing well.
This is excellent.
Yeah, we're making money.
If someone wants to get a hold of you to look at doing some of the education part of it, where do they go?
Yeah, so they can contact me at FuturesANIMal.com, again, and I can talk to them about both the sister company that we have, the education, as well as what we're doing as far as the brokerage firm. And my number's right there on the screen when they go to the website. And
it's pulled up right now below, so excellent.
Yeah.
Travis McGhee, FuturesANIMal, as always, we appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a great time. All right, when we come back, I believe Charlie Sturgis is here, but we'll find out here shortly. If not, we've got lots more coming your way right after this.